Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. It's Sunday night, and there's not four of us. There's two of us. It's Gav, it's Emmet. Shawnee had a mad weekend with the underage football, so he's having the night off, and I think Keith's just found another party to go to somewhere. It's a bar mitzvah or it's something going on, so Keith is away doing whatever, and that's absolutely fine because me and Emmet tonight are going to preview a load of shows we're going to bring you during the week on Jürgen Klopp. Okay, we're not going to preview Aston Villa tomorrow night. That'll take care of itself. We're going to look at the Jürgen Klopp years. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday of this week, we are going to bring you shows on different elements of the reign of Jürgen Klopp at Liverpool. But me and Emma are going to go through those topics in the next hour or so. We're going to have a chat around them. And then, as I said, each night this week, we will bring you a show on each of these topics individually as they go. Do you get that, Emma? Does that make sense to you?
It'll all make sense in the end, yeah.
Will it?
It'll all make sense by Friday.
It needs to make sense to me. And but no,
yeah, no, it does. It makes sense. So we're going to talk about all five or four or five today.
Do a little bit, yeah.
And then you're going to do a show on each one of them.
Yeah.
Tuesday to Friday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and Saturday. And the Saturday one will be from the Florence Cinema. Yeah, the Florence Cinema Pongol Pagola. Myself and a young Canadian man you may have heard of called Matt. He will be in the Pagola, probably mad jet lag or whatever. I don't care. Just going to feed him cans and smokes. And we're going to talk about Jürgen Klopp for an hour. So that should be about 5 or 6 p.m. on Saturday. Just letting you know about that one. But the other ones will be 10 o'clock at night. Emmett's in the kitchen. What's he done now? He's just moved all his stuff down to the kitchen, haven't you? Because have you free gaff or something? Yeah, free gaff.
Yeah, Mrs. is away, free gaff.
So he set him up in the kitchen. He's just trying to show off the fact he's a double oven. That's all it is.
That's actually the top one's a microwave.
Oh, I see.
It's not a double oven. Yeah,
no, isn't it? I'd say he's another oven somewhere. Anyway, that's great that he's in his kitchen. We are going to look through stuff, and like I said, it's me and Emma basically doing the 5 topics, but then we're going to reach into those topics in a bit more detail as the week goes on. So I hope that will be enough Jürgen Klopp stuff for you. We did think we were going to close down on Friday and we'll be back to you next Wednesday, but we're going to do Friday, Saturday, and then we'll take a few days off and we'll be back Tuesday or Wednesday next week. That's how it's going to be. Megan says, an emotional week incoming. Yeah, I reckon the amount of stuff that's going to come out will be off the charts, but they are planning something for Jürgen Klopp, aren't they? Late May in Liverpool, so that will be great as well. And hopefully they put it live on LFC TV and it is free for everybody to watch. I'm hoping they could do something like that. So Emma, Jürgen Klopp, his, what will be, nearly 9 years.
Playing at Liverpool.
He'd be 8.5 years, is it? Something along them lines. 8.5 years at the helm at Liverpool will come to an end in a match day sense next Sunday, the 19th, I think it is, of May, at home to Wolves. And of course you will have an outpouring of emotion within the ground and from around the world from Liverpool fans and stuff like that. But I want to take us back. I want to take us back to the arrival of Jürgen Klopp. That's where I want to start. And I want us, me and you, to give the take on the previous manager. The rumour going around about Klopp. Then it was happening. Then people were tracking planes and spotting him in Audi garages in parts of Liverpool. And then he arrives. And what did you think about the time? Were you excited by it? Was it like, wow? Where were you on this from the very start? Because let me set a scene for you.
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers loses 6-1 away at Stoke at the end of 2014-15 season. Okay, loses 6-1 away at Stoke, remains in the job, gets rid of a few fellas around him, starts the season. It's an average-ish start to the season, and then the breaking point comes away at Everton. I think we draw 1-1. I think Danny Ings scores on the day. That's where we were, but there was murmurs going around that this would be his last game anyway, and then it broke on that day that he will leave. So, where were you at all this?
That was the famous, wasn't it? It was live. It happened live on Sky. It was the famous Henry and Carragher moment where he touches his leg. Where was I? I think Rodgers probably should have gone after the 6-1 against Stoke. Probably would have been best to go then. Overall, are we talking about Rodgers first?
You can because we kind of have to talk about where the club was and the whole coming up to Jürgen Klopp
I think overall with Rodgers, I think he kind of got lucky in terms with the players and the form that they kind of played. It was nearly like a false dawn. Now, don't get me wrong. That was around about the time I started listening to the day trip. It was 2013. Shaky shoulders in bed. That was when you could only listen to. You couldn't watch it live,
Yeah.
and it would be getting boxes and everything because I'd be laughing at Phil and all whatever. But that was an exciting season. But I think it was a bit of a false dawn. I think we know that Rodgers is probably a bit of a spoof for some of the stories you probably heard since his envelopes and all that kind of stuff. So he never really kind of struck me as a Liverpool manager. And what I mean by that is, and in terms of Klopp comes from Mainz, first of all, which is a real kind of community club. And Dortmund is similar. And I think there's kind of similarities between the connection between Dortmund and their fans and Liverpool and their fans, Mainz, their fans. Rodgers always struck me as somebody that was only ever really in it for himself. The losing weight, I mean, we can't criticise him on that. We've both done it since January. But the new teeth, I think he broke up with his wife, started going out with a new. It just always seemed to be the Brendan Rodgers show. I'm talking about how he kind of lived his life, not necessarily in interviews or anything like that. So when Klopp came in, I just think it was the perfect fit. And his first interview, even when he comes in, he was immediately trying to connect with the fans. Doubters to believers, I'm the normal one, all that kind of stuff. And he was just so unassuming. We all expected this headbanger that we all knew that was running up and down touchlines at Dortmund. But we didn't kind of need, I certainly didn't see this kind of refined side to him. He's an extremely intelligent individual as well. So don't for one second think, I'm not suggesting that he faked it, but he knew exactly what to say to try and get the Liverpool fans on board. Because when you're coming in as a new manager, especially after like the previous manager hasn't been great, it's very hard to get time or it's very hard to win fans over. And I think in his first interview, I think he had everybody hooked. I know there was other people, Ancelotti never really wanted him. I was always Klopp. Not necessarily because of what I've just said, because we hadn't seen that side of him, but that kind of madness, but the kind of connection he had with the Dortmund fans. Even when you look at it's going to be very, very similar next Sunday. And I know we're all going to hope to be there, but it's going to be very, very similar looking at him leaving Dortmund. They absolutely love him. They still worship the ground he walks on. And I think that we'll probably worship the ground that he walks on for a long, long time. I think there's and I know we'll probably talk as we go through the hour. To me, there's kind of nearly like a correlation there with something that happened maybe 70 years beforehand, 60, 70 years beforehand with Shankly. I just think he has a very kind of Shankly way about him in terms of connecting the club and what did Shankly call it? Was it Shankly called it the Holy Trinity? The club, the players, the fans.
Yeah.
I think, and I think Klopp kind of nearly brought that back when he first arrived.
Paul Gallagher says Gav must have fell asleep at the back garden on the sun chair. I'm going to be honest with you, the lighting in this room, if I turn it up too high, I look like I'm see-through. If I turn it down too low, I look like I'm burnt. And I always look really red, but I'm not. I'm really brown. I don't really burn. I'm going to be honest with you. I just go brown because I'm really, really dark. Quarter Italian. I don't really like to talk about it. Anyway, yeah, look, I'm going to be honest with you. When Rodgers comes in to the job at Liverpool, I was happy with it because it was a break away from the boot room, blah 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 blah. And I was like, lads, the boot room hasn't worked in fucking 10 years here. Do you know what I mean? We've done the Souness stuff. We've done the Evans stuff. We've done a bit of Evans with Houllier. Houllier bored the tits off us, but he won trophies. You know, Rafa. You know, and we had Rafa, and then we went back. The Hodgson stuff we don't want to talk about, but then we go back to Dalglish, and we people are saying we should have kept Dalglish on. I was happy that not happy that Dalglish went, but I was kind of like, no lads, let's not go backwards here to try to go forwards. You know, we need to make a break here, and I was happy with the Brendan Rodgers thing coming in. His style of football, didn't really know much about him, but his style of football at Swansea kind of impressed me. The way he liked to play and the press and different things. I liked him. I've no problem saying that. His fourth season, he's finding his feet. You know, he couldn't get off to a worse start. I think Daniel Agger gets sent off after about 5 minutes away at West Brom in his fourth league game. We lose 3-0. But we grow as that season goes on. And he brings in Coutinho and he brings in Sturridge, and you can see kind of an evolution going on. You can see Suarez coming into his own and stuff like that. And the 13-14 season still is one of my most favourite seasons of all time. Because, yes, we get beaten to a league title. Yes, it's horrendous how it happens. Gerrard, all that sort of stuff. But just the way we just literally turned up at home to Arsenal, blew them away, and just decided, let's try win every game between now and the end of the season. And we nearly did. And I liked it. Look, he's dealt a raw deal in that summer when Suarez manoeuvres his way out of the club at the second time of asking by biting Chiellini, wasn't it, in the World Cup? And you're like, they can't keep this fella. You know what I mean? It's just madness. He goes off and he brings in some signings, and you're kind of going, Ricky Lambert, fucking Balotelli, Lallana I was happy with Lallana. You had kind of Lovren was highly rated at the time. Let's not forget that. He brings in Lovren. I think Klein comes in. You know, there's loads of different things going on, and you're kind of going, look, he's being dealt a hammer blow here with the whole fucking leaving of Suarez. But look what he's brought in. I'm not too sure. He's trying to strengthen. Lazar Markovic comes in during this period as well, and it's. But 2015-16, for me, if Rodgers wanted to endear himself to Liverpool, he should have just went, listen, we're going to stick to our principles. We're going to keep trying to play this way, and we're going to have to build again. But he doesn't. And what he does is he panics all over the place. He starts playing Raheem Sterling at right back. He starts playing Lazar Markovic at some stage as a left wing back. Sterling's playing all over the pitch. The FA Cup semi-final against Villa, he changes formation about I don't know how many fucking times. And you just know his head's gone. You know his head's gone. And I went very quickly from loving him and saying, you know what? And even halfway through 14-15 going, he's just like Sturridge gets injured on international duty, first time out in 14-15. And I always blame Hodgson on ruining Sturridge's career for me. That's just how I feel about it. But I was kind of felt sorry for him. Then I thought, no, his head's gone. His head is gone. It's not that the job's too big for him. He just can't. I don't even know if it was Liverpool or somebody else. When there was adversity thrown at him and he had to be asked a question, he couldn't answer it. And I don't think it was because it was Liverpool. I think anywhere he couldn't answer it. I think you've seen that at Leicester in the later days. I think you've actually seen it at Celtic this season, although they're going to get away with it because Rangers are appalling. And when it came down to it, then he should have went after Stoke, in my opinion. You know, then he removes O'Driscoll, it was a McAllister, he removes a couple of people and keeps his own job, and you're like, Jesus Christ. And then we start the season and it's like, is it Benteke they signed Firmino, but he didn't want Firmino. He signed
he's playing Firmino all over the place as well.
Yeah, he had Firmino playing left wing, and it was all sorts. And the writing was on the wall for him. And I'm going to be honest with you, I went through every game at the start of that season going, that fella shouldn't be our manager. If you have anything against you, if you have anything about you, you walk away after Stoke. You just walk away after Stoke. I don't care who you are, what stage you're in, you don't lose a 6-1 at home to Stoke or away to Stoke. Simple as that. But the writing's on the wall, and two names come up. Klopp and Ancelotti. And I was all on the Klopp thing because Ancelotti is a fantastic manager, right? But I felt we weren't good enough tactically or individually to sue Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti likes to come into a team that's 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10. He just puts a bit of magic dust on it, and he, you know, you look at Real Madrid and he grind out stuff and think we needed someone that was going to be all conquering. And a bit like what you said, he just takes the club in his hands. And Ancelotti is brilliant as a manager, but he doesn't take a football club in his hands. And that's why I was all over Klopp, because he's mental. One, he's German, right? Dortmund, you know, very emotional football club like Liverpool are. You know, they're a big club in Germany. He'd recently lost the Champions League final, but he'd won 2 titles on the trot. And I think, like, has anyone won a bleeding title in Germany since, apart from Leverkusen this season? I don't think they have.
These are the last team to beat them. So it was
before Leverkusen was Dortmund in 12 and 13, I think it was. So I wanted Klopp because I just thought he's mad enough to take them. And I think not only that, he's with what we have in front of us, I think he could make something of that, and then in time, you know, and Ancelotti isn't a man about time. Look at his clubs. He's not a man about 4, 5, 6 years. He's just not that. So bringing in Klopp, I was like, I'm praying, absolutely praying for him, because of the fella he was and what I thought he could do for Liverpool Football Club. And when he arrives, you know, you've seen like, oh, they're tracking planes. Someone's seen him buying an Audi in the Audi garage. Remember that? That was like outrageous. And then he arrives, and one of the first things he does, he starts grabbing directors in headlocks on the football pitch, and you know he calls himself the normal one. He doubters to believers, and he's kind of qualified that recently. And he said, "Look, I didn't want them to. I just wanted them. I wanted to show them what can happen if you believe." And that's a brilliant. It's actually bookends brilliantly, doesn't it, from 2015 to now, the way he's kind of done that. And I was over the moon with him.
His other quote as well is, "It's not what they think of you when you arrive; it's what they think of you when you leave."
Yeah,
That's obviously
he was
we
just.
are now.
He was just. He was a breath of fresh air, and you know something. I think if FSG don't make that appointment in 2015, I don't think they're owners for Liverpool Football Club within 2 or 3 years, because I just think it was unbelievable how they go and get this fella who's on a kind of sabbatical or whatever, after leaving Dortmund, and people were saying, I've left it up. Thor says the arrival of Klopp, so many rival fans claiming he was a busted flush because of the Dortmund drop off. Dortmund do drop off, but they actually come back towards the end of that season and finish about 6th or 7th. And for me, it was just perfect. It was owners showing ambition. It was owners picking a man that knew that they didn't have to be front and centre. This fellow would come in and be front and centre. He would, you know, lead the orchestra from day one. He'd have no problem telling you, we're not good enough to do this, so stop expecting it. But I want you to support us in anything we're doing. He's having rows with the main stand 3 or 4 games in, telling them they're not good enough. You know what I mean? He's roiling up people. He's making teams go to the Kop end after a 2-2 draw against West Brom. And people couldn't understand that. And he's saying, they tried, they gave everything. You know what I mean? So I thought the arrival of Klopp was just, it felt to me like this has to work or we're in all sorts of trouble. But for it to work, we couldn't have picked a better man. And that's not even saying it in hindsight, is it?
No, I mean, I thought you were going to touch on it there, and it's something maybe that I should have said when I was describing it. It's what he had done at Dortmund as well on, I don't want to say limited budget, but like Lewandowski was supposed to join, was it Blackburn?
Yeah. And the
3 million,
the big,
and the Ash Cloud.
The Ash Cloud stopped the deal, yeah.
Yeah, from Iceland. Look what he turned him into. You've got other Aubameyang, the likes of Rice. What's the other lad's name that was sick for a while? Scored the winner in the World Cup 2014, was it?
Oh, yeah, I can't remember his name now. Really good player.
Yeah, young lad.
From an illness. Then you had Kagawa.
Gundogan.
Gundogan. What was the other fella's name that scored in the World Cup final? He's been linked with Liverpool about bleeding 20 times.
Yeah.
Even when he was a free contract.
He had like a muscle kind of wasting disease or something like that.
Yeah, someone in the chat's about to tell us straight away. We'll get to it.
But like these guys, none of these guys were big names, and you've Götze. That's him.
Götze.
Yeah,
couldn't think of his name.
Mario Götze. Yeah, but you saw what he did there, and with the way that we were in terms of like back then, we always looked at United signing all of the best players and the ready-made players and stuff like that. We weren't really doing that, bar the likes of maybe like Suarez. Even when we bought Suarez, he wasn't ready-made. Like, do you know what I mean? He was already a bit of a problem child in the Dutch league as well. So I'd say maybe only Balotelli is probably, when you think of it, is the kind of the biggest kind of star that we actually signed. And sure, he was a busted flush as well. Like, so
the next one is Thiago.
Yeah, and that's it. So we weren't used to signing stars, so we needed a manager that was good at changing or developing players into stars. And that's, I mean, you can count on one hand the players that have failed under him at Liverpool. You could probably do the same at Dortmund. So in that sense, he was ideal for the kind of the place that we were in. It was Nuri Sahin as well. Yeah,
Nuri Sahin.
Was he? Yeah. I actually really liked
He
him. I
didn't
was
come.
disappointed
He
when
was
we got rid
on.
of him.
No, he was on. He didn't come in
He was
under
on loan
Klopp.
for Real Madrid, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he wasn't. He wasn't there with
No,
Klopp.
I think Owen is saying that Klopp
He was another.
developed
He was
him
another
at
player. And
Dortmund.
Nuri Sahin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I think it was ideal. It was just what we needed. Like you said there, is Ancelotti would come in and he'd be kind of like, what am I supposed to do with this bunch? Whereas Klopp kind of nearly had previous on
But
what
that's
he
the
could do.
thing. I think if Ancelotti comes in, right, he probably turns that team from, let's be honest, a 6 out of 10 side to probably an 8.5 side, right? And you probably win a couple of trophies with him, right? Because he's brilliant, Ancelotti. There's no shadow of a doubt about it. He's
Yeah.
brilliant. But my thing with this with Klopp was, Klopp could come in and possibly get us to an 8.5, 9 team. He ends up getting a 10 out of 10 team. But he's going to do everything else aside from that. He's going to drag these supporters with us. He's going to make players that, you don't think are the best in the world. He's going to turn them into the best in the world. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying he's a better coach than Ancelotti. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying his qualities around the whole football club and being the face of the football club sat better with me than Ancelotti. I don't think Ancelotti. You see, I think if Ancelotti comes in, I think he makes us a really good footballing team. But I think the limits we would set with regards to finances is where Ancelotti might go, I can only do so much with these players, right? Whereas Klopp will go, no, I can do more with them. I can get more out of them. I can make the fucking run harder. I can make them, and it just suited us better. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. I think if you put Ancelotti into Liverpool's system now, right, you're kind of going, that's an 8.5 out of 10 team probably. I think he could make you 10. Do you get me? I think he can make you 10. I just think because of everything that's set up now, the supporters on board, you look at the academy, the AXA, the women's team, there's so much going on at that football club that's just brilliant. Whereas in 2015, it clearly wasn't. And I think you needed someone that was, a figurehead of the whole club. And I think Klopp just sat better than Ancelotti. I'm not taking that away from Ancelotti, but I think Ancelotti probably would have. Kev says it there. Carlo would have left within 18 months. I think
I was going to say he wouldn't have lasted 8.5 years.
but he doesn't. He doesn't do it. Look at his managerial career. He doesn't do more than 3 years, I think, at any club he's ever been at in a stint ever. So it's one of those. But look, we're delighted with the arrivals. I want to go on to goals, right? Because we're going to cover goals, we're going to cover games, we're going to cover big moments, we're going to cover the legacy and stuff like that. But goals, now there's great games that you might win, there's great games that you do win, but goals that stand out in the Klopp era. Maybe it's Klopp's reaction, maybe it's, Jay's, that's a Klopp goal, maybe it's just he goes berserk. You know what I mean? Just those things. Is there any big ones for you?
Look, I think the first game against Arsenal, Mane. I think it's Mane's debut, isn't it? Away to Arsenal.
That's the first game of his first full season.
Yeah.
16,
so first of all, I think Arsenal go ahead, don't they? And then Coutinho rattles one into the top corner from a free kick.
Yeah, I think Walcott misses a penalty, but then scores. And then Coutinho gets a free kick right on half time to make it 1-1. And then we just come out and run amok on them.
And then Mane just, like a mazy down the right hand wing, cuts inside and then curls into the top corner. And Klopp is losing his shit, and we're all loving it. But then, and I think he said it himself after the game, he needs to relax on that because Arsenal come back. I think it was 4-3 it finished.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
I think
we were 4-1 up or something, and they came back to 4-3.
Yeah, I think Oxlade-Chamberlain might score for them, and that centre half that's done the rounds loads. He was at Villa. Gerrard signed him at Villa. You know him, he's an English fella.
A holding,
no,
there's not holding.
No, I think of him now in a minute. I think he scores as well. The Lallana one the Mane one is a great goal. Do you know what one I want to shout out? And look, when I go through this week, I don't know who's going to do the goals section. I don't know who. So when whoever gets picked to do the goals section is going to have to go out and think of deadly goals. The one against Hoffenheim at home in the Champions League qualifier. We'd gone to Hoffenheim and I think we'd won 2-1 away there. I think Trent scores the free kick, right? And
That's his first goal in Europe, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're at home. Chambers is the centre half. Chambers. I'm really sure Oxlade-Chamberlain scores as well that day. But we come home to Hoffenheim and you're like, I think it was 2-1. And we're like, Jesus. And I think Mignolet might have saved the penalty that night as well, actually. And we're at Anfield. It's the summer 17, start of the 17-18 season. And we have to qualify. And we get Hoffenheim and he's to go back to Germany. And we win 2-1 in the fourth leg. And we come away. And next thing we're at Anfield. And we score this goal.
Is it Chan's goal, is it?
Chan's goal. Where I think Mignolet might just knock it to Moreno. Moreno into midfield, around the corner. Mane tears after it. Reverse pass to Firmino, chips to the back post. Jan comes on to it, buries it. I think we were about 3-0 up at half time. And that's the fourth goal. When I think of Klopp in the early time, I know we've great time and people have mentioned Lallana there and, 5-4 away at Norwich. That probably doesn't go into goals. That probably goes into moments for me. But that was where you went, that's what we're all about. That he's picked, he has it now. He's literally spent 6 months looking at this team. He's brought Mane had come in. We're started this season. We're trying to qualify. We're at to get into qualification for Europe. We're trying to get into the Champions League, and it was just like bang. Now that's what we're doing. We're playing into midfield. We're quick interchange. We're in behind teams. We're overlapping. We're just swarming them. I love that goal. Love that goal at Liverpool. Give us another one. And we're not going to tell them all because whoever's on the goals thing will have to come up with a load of goals. But give us another one.
I'm trying to think and just goals that stick out in my mind. They're not necessarily linked to Klopp, but I'm hoping that this one was I'm nearly sure it was against United in the Europa League at Old Trafford. Coutinho's goal.
Yes.
Was he in charge for that?
Yeah,
that's another one that sticks in my mind.
That's the Europa League quarterfinal, second leg.
Yeah, made a show of the guy and goal, Coutinho. Any more that sticks out in my mind? I love Bobby's against Stoke. Funnily enough, I think it's away and it just drops over his shoulder and it just absolutely leathers it.
Yeah,
into
that's
the
one.
Net.
I think that's the one.
The green kit, I think, wasn't it? The toxic green kit. I think we were wearing that.
I think that's the one where it's the end of the season and he plays a load of young fellas.
Yeah, I think we beat them by a good few, I think.
No, what happened? I'm nearly sure that goal is, I think that's the fourth season, right? And I think we're going for the Europa League and he decides to put a load of young lads out and we're brutal and we're 1-0 down and Coutinho and Firmino come on and score. I'm nearly sure.
Could be,
might have the years wrong there. But I know the one you were talking about. Wijnaldum plays it long.
And he just absolutely it's a real, not a Bobby goal.
Well, then it's not Wijnaldum because Wijnaldum's 16, doesn't come until 16, 17.
I'm trying to see when it is.
It's Wijnaldum, I'm nearly sure, that plays a forward. So it would have been 16, 17.
Yeah.
But he puts a load of young fellas in. Puts a couple of young fellas in and it just doesn't work. We must be going for the Champions League or whatever, and he brings these two boys off and bang. They score and we win and stuff like that. Do you know it was a big goal for me as well? I just need seen his name there. Sturridge away. Sturridge away at West Ham. Again, I think this is when we're in the race for top 4 and we go to West Ham and we have that toxic Thunder kit on. And West Ham are seen to be, these are going to be an issue, blah, 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 blah. And I think Coutinho plays Sturridge through early in the game and he just dances by the keeper and puts it in. I think we end up winning 4 that day. I think Coutinho gets a couple. Origi gets one. And I thought that was I liked that goal, because it was another it was a big game and it was another big goal. But I'm trying to keep away from moments and wins. So just good goals, I suppose.
Yeah, no, well, come here. The run to the 2018 Champions League final. There was some absolute crackers in that, wasn't there? Roma.
Yeah.
Salah's first one against Roma.
Yeah.
Bends it into the top corner against, obviously, Alisson.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think now. Do you remember there might have been actually a league game against Man City. Did we beat them? It ended up being 4-2 or 4-3 or something. 4-3. Ederson comes out and
Salah puts it back over.
Salah scores from about 30 or 40 yards out.
I think that's 17
That league game.
That's a league game.
Yeah. And Mane smashes one into the top corner then that
so
night as well. Soon
in
after.
that game, I think we go ahead in that game. I'm trying to remember now.
I think we go 3-0 up, do we not, in that league game?
No. We go 1-0 up in that game, and I'm nearly sure your man Sane scores.
Okay,
and it's a mistake by Joe Gomez. And Sane comes in and scores, and then Liverpool are playing into the Anfield Road end at the start of the second half, and we battered them. Firmino nudges, I think it's Stones out of the way, and chips the keeper. Then Mane is put in. You think he's going to pass? He left foot blasted into the top corner after we've hit the post, and then Salah makes a 4, but they get 2 back. I nearly sure Gundogan and David Silva maybe. Was Gundogan there at the time? So somebody scores to make a 4-3 late on, and the Salah one is a great goal because like when we go through this week. And I keep telling you about this because you'll have to listen across the week to more in depth on each of these. But we are going to do the arrival, which me and Emmet have touched on. We are going to talk about goals, which we're currently on. We're going to talk about moments, which can be on and off the pitch. The wins, big wins that we had, and that's trophies and whatever else. And then the legacy, which me and Matt will talk about on Saturday. But great goals.
Bernardo Silva and Gundogan in that game.
Was it Bernardo Silva?
Bernardo Silva and Ilkay Gundogan. Yeah, Jesus, and Gundogan scored in the 91st minute.
Yeah. There was 3.
Bernardo Silva's there since, he was there in January 18.
Yeah, geez, he's there an awful long time. I can't remember who scores for Liverpool to make it 1-0 in that game. We scored at the Kop end to make it 1-0. I can't remember who it was.
Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain smashes
no,
one in.
That's the one where he gets it down and he.
That's in the Champions League.
He pulls it onto his right foot. He hits it low across the keeper. That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. But yeah, so look, I'm trying not to take too many big goals because the person who's going to do the show this week will want to bring in best 10 goals and other people can throw them at us. But just goals when you see them, I'll tell you what one stands out for me. And it's everything about Liverpool as well. It's the Trent one away at Leicester in December 2019 when we'd just come back from the World Club Cup. This is seen as a title showdown. We're 10 clear of them or something. But if they win, blah blah blah. But we just go out and it's honestly one of the best performances I've seen from Liverpool side in my lifetime. Right, it's right up there with the Forest 5-0. It's everything about it, every second ball, every pass, every intercept, everything was done to perfection that day. To the point where Jamie Vardy, I don't think has one shot on goal in the whole game. He's chasing, can't get near us. But this goal starts on the left-hand side with a throw-in. I think it's Mane. Somebody gets a touch on it, and Mane just comes out with it. And it's everything about Liverpool because Mane's just drifting into positions with the ball. We've got out of a tight space. And then Trent is just gone like a train down the pitch. And we've seen Liverpool fullbacks do that before. They get up the pitch and they look to get it. He's not interested in getting wide. He's just ploughing into this spot where he goes, just put it in there and I'll deal with it. And he smacks it across Schmeichel into the bottom corner. And you think at the time, could Schmeichel have done better? But when they shove him behind the goal, it's past him before he even get down. And it was just... I think that when I think of great goals, I think of great goals that shows Klopp's Liverpool. When you see great goals, like, some people are saying Sean there, the overhead kick away at Watford. That's a great goal. But I'm thinking of great goals where you go, that's Jürgen Klopp's Liverpool. And that one from Trent was brilliant. But I'm not going. We'll keep going because I don't want to do too many goals and ruin the show that's going to come on whatever that might be Wednesday night. The next topic, the moments. Big moments from Jürgen Klopp over the last 8.5 years or whatever. 9, we just call it 9, make it easier. But big moments can be on the pitch, off the pitch, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to start us off with this one. And it's when he basically tells people that they're correct if they want to walk out of the ground on 77 minutes to protest the £77 tickets. And I think that's really clever what he does there. He basically, there's no doubt he's had talks with the football club about this, and he's probably aired his views. And I believe that he's turned around and went, look, if they ask me, I'm going to tell them that they can walk out if they want. It's their right. And me, as this kind of socialist, can't tell them you're wrong. And he's in an interview, he's in a press conference. They ask him, listen, you're playing, I want to say it was Sunderland we played that day. And they were like, look, there's talk that on the 77th minute, a lot of people will leave Anfield because of the price of tickets. And he just turned around and goes, if they want to walk out, they've every right to. That's an awful lot of money for people to be paying. Boom, 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 boom. And you just went, it gets him on side with everybody. And it shows him that, you know, I've seen Jürgen Klopp described as a yes man by people, you know, that want to have a go off, come whatever, it's anything to do with Liverpool. But I think that showed that, listen, I'm employed by these people, but I answer to these people over here. And these people I answer to are the people that walk in the gate every week. And I think that's a huge moment in Jürgen Klopp's career at Liverpool.
But that's what I was saying there at the start. It's like not necessarily against the owner, but he's more with the people. It's like he understood the people. Like, I don't know whether it's he knew it or someone said it to him or whatever. But there's not many down through the years that have understood Liverpool fans. Not that they're hard to understand, but I just think he had practice with it with the likes of Dortmund. He came in and he's not full of airs and graces. He is literally like, if he wasn't, and I fully believe now, even when he, like, because I know he's not going to hang around like a bad smell like a certain other manager that left another club, but I do see him coming back and going to games, and like, you just look at his wife at the parades, standing up on top of, like, I think it might have even been a wheelie bin as they were going. They're just normal people, and he's just a normal
hanging
bloke.
out like a traffic lights.
Yeah, like
traffic
lights or something like that, or a signal box or something like that. But that's like, do you know what I mean? It's very, and I'm not suggesting other managers are full of their airs and graces or whatever, but he's just, and he is, like you described, is the normal one. And he's as much of a football fan as the 50-odd thousand or now 61,000 people that are sitting in that stadium every week. Like, but yeah, I agree. That's probably a big moment. A big moment for me is probably, and it's more recent, is that young fella from, is his name Owen, from the north?
Oh, he's from Monaghan, wasn't he?
Monaghan, I think he's from, yeah. And
Yeah.
like, just the amount of time that, like, and everybody could say, oh, he does that for, no, I'm not saying Liverpool fans, but you will hear other, they do that for the cameras and stuff like that. But for him to speak to that child, and I believe he was speaking to him for a couple of hours in his office and stuff like that. To give that time to, yeah, go on. Yeah,
anyone that doesn't know, this young lad was born, and basically his lower legs and the lower limbs on his legs and his arms, he was born without them. And you'll know him. He's really impressive.
You'll all have seen it. You'll all have cried to this video.
Yeah. I presume all of you have seen it. But I think you're right. I think the fact that, you know, anyone can say, oh, look, they edited this, but he spends an awful lot of time on him. And not only that, this young lad has done follow-up interviews and different things like that, and said...
But he's mentioned him. Yeah. When he said he was leaving, he says, I'm going to have to contact Owen and tell him I'm sorry that I'm leaving. Yeah. And this is like about 4 months after that video had happened. And I know for a fact that that's the way he is, because I brought the little lad over for a game, and they had only just moved to go into staying in the Titanic. So very few people knew where they were. If anybody wants to know where they stayed in the Titanic.
Yeah, they used to stay in...
That's not a secret anymore. Hope Street.
Hope Street used to stay in, yeah.
But they couldn't, the road, it was too dangerous. The amount of people showing up to the hotel was too dangerous, so they had to move it. And Titanic is down on the docks, like. But we actually rocked up, and we were there was only us four, and then another fella and his son. And they went out for their walk and all that. And this is around COVID time. It was October. It was the Brighton game that you were over with Sean and Andy and that. Yeah. And they come back from the walk. Now, the security are all there, and they're dead sound and go, look, they probably won't stop them, whatever. And my little lad just shouted out, Jürgen, can I get a picture? And he said, yeah, no problem. And he went to have a selfie. I have it on my phone. There it is there. I don't know, you're going to be able to see it?
Yeah.
There. So, but didn't, like, he had the camera on a 10-second delay. So he pressed the button and the two of them were there like this. And he goes, "Oh my God, this is the longest photograph ever." And it's just an ordinary, nice bloke. Like, do you know what I mean? He could have easily gone, "This is taking too long," and feck off. And you do see people doing that. But it just is. And that's, like, I'm not saying that I would doubt his genuineness if that didn't happen, because I kind of knew that's the way he is. But just that day kind of nearly cemented it for me. It's just, he is just the normal one. He's just another bloke. Like, you see him in his holidays drinking beers and smoking and
Yeah,
Ibiza.
Kev
And all with
O'Sullivan
George
mentions there as
Schmadtke.
well, like, you know, it's not a big moment, but it's a good one. He says the interview with Gerrard, when Gerrard's talking about the week of the Champions League final, and he spots Gerrard in a beer garden and just stops and has a smoke and a pint with him. You know what I mean? Like, he just openly yell, have a smoke. Like, he's pictured, the day he gets the Liverpool job, he's pictured that night in Liverpool outside the pub having a smoke. Like, then no big deal, but that's the way he is. Somebody else you mentioned there, I think it was Owen Burke mentioned there, I'm going to put it back up because I clicked off by mistake. He said, the Coutinho sale, a huge moment. I think that's a great show because we've just gone back. If you go back to the previous manager, loses, you know, who was considered at the time his best player in Luis Suarez, and how does he invest it? Not brilliantly, and just rows over, I want this player, but you can sign this player if you get this player. The whole thing apparently was he wanted Benteke and didn't want Firmino, but he ended up getting both, and all sorts of messing going on, right? But the Coutinho sale, I think, is a great shout, Mambo, because at the time Coutinho was considered their best player. No doubt about it. He's considered our best player. It's the summer of 2017. Salah's only arrived. Mane's only been there for a year. Firmino's there, it's 2 seasons, I think, but he's been messed about by Rodgers at the start. And Coutinho was, without a shadow of a doubt, considered our best player. Like, even when Salah arrives and people think, he'd be back up to Mane and stuff like that, it was like, it's going to be Coutinho, Firmino, Mane, right? And next of all, Salah comes on the scene, and everyone's getting Coutinho in their team. There's no way Coutinho's coming out. And the whole Coutinho thing starts with, he doesn't show up in Dublin for a pre-season friendly. The following week then against Sevilla, I think it was, he then goes the following week and he says he's a back injury.
Bilbao, I think it was.
Was it Bilbao? Might have been Bilbao, yeah. Your man Williams was playing for them. So it is. Not Sevilla. You're right. And then the following weekend, Salah scores on his debut in a 3-3 draw at Watford, but he says he's injured. He says, Coutinho says he's injured, a back injury, and Klopp never opens his fucking mouth about it, right? Just lets it play, and he doesn't get sold. And Klopp tells him, if you stay here, they'll build a statue of you. If you leave, you'll just be another player somewhere else. Coutinho actually goes through his best consistent form for Liverpool over 4 months, but goes in the January, right? And how did he react? Well, they bring in Virgil van Dijk. Now, I still argue to this day that they're trying to sign Virgil van Dijk before Coutinho goes, because I know that for a fact, because I remember it in the summer of 2017, where literally we're all over Virgil van Dijk, and there's no talk of Coutinho at that time until very late in the window. But he goes and he gets Virgil van Dijk, and he brings in Alisson. And how does he react to it? He gets into a European Cup final. They get beaten, right? But he goes again, and he gets to another European Cup final, and they win. They get 97 points. What does he do after that? He goes and wins a title on 99 points, and literally they're drunk for 7 games. They're drunk. They are drunk for 20% of the league games, and they get 99 points. And it is a huge moment for him, because that could have been one where if things go slightly wrong, people can turn you. You let him go, boom. But he doesn't. He just reacts brilliant to it. You can see it's all about the team, and I'll bring in more people to make this team better than it was with Coutinho in it. He loved Coutinho, but he could still make that team better even when he loses that guy who's considered at the time.
How right was he? How right
was
he?
Right.
What's happened to Coutinho now?
Well, the thing is, Coutinho goes to Barcelona and the team aren't built around him, and they're not built to function because of his strengths. Liverpool were, even with Klopp's mad football, they tailored it to him, which meant that he didn't have to do a lot of running back. But when he got it, he could be so creative, and he found a spot in his team for him. They found him a spot, and not that he found him a spot because he was their best player, but he, instead of going, you can play there, but you need to run back, boom. Well, you don't really do that. But I tell you what, we'll just put you here because you're great. but he reacts brilliant. He
But I
actually
think
reacts
the
brilliant.
thing with Coutinho as well was that when he first came into Liverpool, I think the whole reason why maybe it didn't work out at Inter was that he's extremely shy. And the reason it worked at Liverpool was it was seen the change room was seen more as a kind of a family kind of a bond. Do you know what I mean? And then once he had that, came out of his shell, played really well for Liverpool. Then he goes to Barca, where it's like you've probably got about 3 or 4 different factions in the Barca change room. I think he wanted to go and play with Neymar, his mate,
And Neymar
and
went off
Neymar
to
leaves.
Paris Saint-Germain, yeah.
So he's
Yeah.
So it was look,
Am I
very few
right? Am I right
leaves.
in thinking he wanted to go and play with Neymar that summer? He doesn't get his move, but Neymar does. And he still signs for Barcelona in the January, if I remember right, because he never gets to play with Neymar at Barcelona, I don't think.
But it's very few people leave and go on and so. Well, look, the likes of Alonso and stuff like that. But you're going and you're
Alonso
joining
and Suarez.
Yeah, but I mean, these teams would probably have been successful without these players. Is the point? There's very few that have gone on, and like Suarez, maybe. Yeah, look, that team probably would have succeeded without him. But, very few go on and better. They become a better player.
Yeah, but you see, I think all that, players that have left have never gone on to any better. I think that's a flawed thing anyway, because you have to look at the state Liverpool are in when they leave. I think Alonso leaving, I think at the time, whether you like or not, Liverpool were about to go on a decline again, right? Because Benitez's head is absolutely melted over not winning the league in 2009. He stays for another season, I think, and he goes into summer 2010, I think, Alonso, right? If you look at Suarez, right? Suarez nearly wins the league with Liverpool. And everyone right to this day will tell you 13, 14, as amazing as it was built on a bit of sand. So they're already about to go on to a bit of a decline again. You know what I mean? The decline starts at Liverpool for Suarez in the start of 2014-15. It starts there for Liverpool and it goes right through to, possibly 6 months into Klopp's kind of reign. The sort of way. It only starts to pick up on Klopp's first full season, where we start going and getting higher and higher and higher. So the whole thing of, who goes on to be better? There are players that when Liverpool were shite left and went on to being better. But I like to think of it as if you're at the top with Liverpool and you go somewhere and you stay at the top with somebody else, then you go, yeah, that is leaving. And I consider that being going on to and being better, because you've left one really successful team to go to another, and you've still been up with them standards, the sort of way.
Sorry, and can we just go back there as well? So I think might have been Gard that put it in. I said the young fella's name was Owen. It wasn't. It was Dara, the kid that Klopp spent all that time.
Dara, yeah.
Dara is his name.
Yeah.
And Alonso left in 2009. So
9 he leaves. Yeah, he leaves after. Yeah, I couldn't remember if he stayed for another season. It's Alonso, I think, that stays for, or not Alonso. It's Mascherano, isn't it? That stays for another season.
Yeah.
Because they tried to sign. Yeah, you're right. They tried to sign Gareth Barry in the summer of 2008, and it doesn't happen. And they nearly win the league with Alonso, and Alonso just says, "Fuck this, I'm out of here." You know what I mean? I'll stay it, but I'm gone, because Benitez has obviously melted his head.
Can I give one more moment?
Are
we burning too many for the people that?
No.
One moment, and it was while you were talking there that it popped back into my head. So you've got I won't mention all the other ones, the funny moments and the boom and all that kind of stuff. But the one that got me was when he was on Sky Sports talking after the Chelsea City game, wasn't it? When Liverpool had officially won the league.
Yeah.
And he breaks down and starts crying.
Kenny Dalglish is in front of a sideboard with the biggest scarf you've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah, but that just what it like for it to mean something like that to somebody that, like, at that stage he was there 4 or 5 years. Like, it was like all of us. I cried when we won the league. I'm not afraid to admit it, but it was just like he was us in that moment, that he knew it meant to him exactly what it meant to the thousands of fans worldwide, and just that one kind of sticks with me.
No, it is a good moment. The wins, okay, and we're having one each, right? One each, that's it, because like we don't want to grab 5 and 6 wins. The wins that stand out for you. Now, the easiest thing to do.
There's only one.
Yeah, is Madrid, isn't it?
No, I was going to pick Barcelona.
Okay, You're going to pick Barcelona.
4-0
I'm not going to go near
Barcelona.
Barcelona. I'm not going to go near Madrid. There's so many of them. There's so many of them. And when I think of the really good ones, I'm trying to think of something that meant something or triggered something, or you know the sort of way where
I know what one you're thinking of.
you know what I mean, like where you're kind of going, right, now we're on the bleeding go here. And I'll tell you what win I loved. I loved it, and it might be I don't think you know the one I'm going to pick. I loved the one at home to Arsenal, where they go ahead and we batter them. Firmino scores a hat-trick. They go ahead through, I want to say, Maitland-Niles at the back post, at the Kop end. Firmino equalises, where it kind of scrambles in the box. Then he makes it 2-1. Then I think we score a pen. Then we get another pen. So that one there.
The one where he sits about 4 defenders down.
Yes.
Arsenal wearing their blue.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people are saying United 7-0. I was at the 7-0. I loved it. But it's still the best game I was ever been at, because it was United and it was 7-0. But the Leicester one away, Super Dizzle mentioned that the Leicester one away was fantastic. But you know what it was? We go behind in that Arsenal game, and they just ratchet it up. And I remember I was in the pub, it was around Christmas when this happened. I know it was, because I was in the pub and there was a lot of drinking that week. You know, I'll just go down for a few pints, it's Christmas. And there was a fella beside me, an Arsenal fan, and I remember them going 1-0 up, and here he was, oh, the Arsenal. And then at the end of it, he was just sitting there going, wait, that yous are so much better than us. Like, you know what I mean? And just little things in my head, for personal things where I remember them. I love that Arsenal, because I love the way Liverpool didn't panic. It might have been 18-19 that season, actually. They didn't panic. They just went, oh, okay, right. And we'll score a mad goal. Then Firmino will do this. Then, no, we don't score a penalty. There's a ball we'll put across and Mane scores again. And then Firmino scores second half of the penalty. And just things like that. And I'm trying to stay away from the big ones, because I know there's a show coming during the week, but I love
it. Yeah, look, mine is obviously a big one. Another one that sticks out for me, and it like you said there, it's because of moments, is the... oh, Jesus, I think it's Aston Villa, is it, in 2019-20 when we're 1-0 down?
19-20, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm actually on my way. I didn't get to see it. I'm on my way back from, I want to say I was over in Venice, maybe, at a basketball tournament. I was somewhere. Was it around October time? I think it might have been October time.
That was, I'll tell you what, that's 1920. It's early November 2019.
Yeah, right. So I was in.
Yeah, I know you're going to look it up. And the only reason I know is because we'd won every game at the start of that season, bar United away. Lallana equalised. Right? And on that day, we are 1-0 down to Villa. City are 1-0 down to Southampton on the same day. And they're coming. Told you. And they're coming to Anfield the following week. Okay? Yeah. And if it stayed as it was, City would have been 3 points off us to play us at Anfield.
Yeah.
And we scored them 2 goals. City win as well. We're 6 clear them, and we beat them at Anfield the following week.
Yeah.
We beat them 3-1 at Anfield the following week. And we go 9 clear them. And after that game, I think we played something like 14-1, 13, lost, drawn 1. And that's what
we were on our way back from Mallorca. Myself, my dad, my nephew, and the little lad went away. We went to a La Liga game, all that kind of stuff, and we flew in and out of Belfast. And my sister lives up the north, and I remember trying to get it on my phone and listen to it on the radio. Just couldn't get it, and I'm just following it on obviously a live score app or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was 1-0 for that for so long, like, and I was like, oh,
yeah. And I might be overplaying this a bit, but I'm nearly sure City are 1-0 down at home to Southampton. And I'm nearly sure if you check the fixtures on the day, right, I'm nearly sure they're down and we're behind. And I think they go ahead while we're still behind. And Robertson equalised. And I remember watching it here. Well, you weren't meant to be watching it at 3 o'clock on a Saturday, but you were. And I remember watching it, and on my phone, I had, the app for the scores, and I seen
Yeah,
City
yeah.
going ahead, and then we equalised, and I was like, oh, and then I was sitting there going, oh, it'll be 4 points. If we lose next week, we only a point. That's not two. You're making all these permutations out, and then Mane scores, and you're like, we're 6 points clear, 100% going. I'm nearly a million percent sure.
Man City were playing. Man City were playing Southampton that day. Yeah.
Yeah,
And let me see. Who did you say?
I'm nearly sure Southampton were 1-0.
Yeah, they were playing. Yeah, I'm trying to see if it gives me
I'm nearly sure Southampton
overview.
were 1-0 up in that game, and City win it. Or maybe they were drawn and they won it. But there was definitely bleeding late stuff going on both of them.
So Ward-Prowse scores in the 13th minute,
Yeah,
and Kyle Walker scores in the 86th minute to make it 1-1.
yeah,
Liverpool didn't score until the 87th minute, and the games would have been going on at the same
yeah.
time.
So
So City went back to 1-1, and we were
City
losing.
equalised. Then why we were losing? Then we
Oh,
equalised.
sorry. Aguero scored on 70th minute. Sorry, Kyle
1-1.
Walker scored on the 86th.
Exactly.
So they went 2-1 up.
Yeah, they were behind, but they'd gone ahead, and we were
Yeah.
still behind. And
Yeah.
then we won. And I remember, I think it puts us 6 clear, and we win the following week. And we go 9 clear. It's a great moment.
But that's
It's a
it.
great
I was
moment.
following it, I was following it on live score and whatever, and I was fucking in a huff in the car on the way back down. I was like, fuck it anyway. They're gonna come to, and then I just checked it a few minutes later. I was like, what?
Yeah,
What the fuck? Like,
it was great.
so I didn't get to see the game.
It was great.
But that game, I think that was like you said, that kind of turned it then, because they were to come to us. Then we beat them.
It meant the following week that if we didn't lose to them, we were 6 clear of them, and I think we would have been 14 or 15 games in, right? Yeah, but if we won, we're going 9 clear of them, and we were starting to look ominous, because it would have been like played 14, won 13, drew 1, and we would have already played City, and it was just ominous, and it did turn out to be ominous, because Liverpool, when they beat Leicester, I think they've played 18, won 17, drawn 1. And it's just stupid
I think
stuff.
that was the season when we were there. We had got to 30 wins in the quickest time ever.
We played 30. We'd won 29 and drew 1. I think our 30th or 34th game is the Watford away, and we get beaten 3-0. We're terrible. And then we just go and start winning games again. Then the COVID comes and all that stuff. But yeah, no, that's a nice one. Let's leave that, because we can go to the big big wins during the week with whoever is lucky enough to get the wins. Last thing is the legacy. Now I'm going to be hosting an awful lot of these, so I'll throw me all in during the week when it comes to the legacy. But his legacy is just. Look, I'll honestly stand here and tell you he's the best manager Liverpool since Paisley. I don't care what anyone says. I don't think he's the biggest person at the football club since Paisley. I think that's Kenny Dalglish. But I think footballing wise, what he takes them from to what he takes them to, it's Paisley, and that's it. There's no one else above him.
You see, that's what I said at the start, that there's kind of a correlation between what he's done, brought us from where we were, what Shankly done. But he adds in on top of it that he's probably as good a manager as Paisley was. That's not me suggesting that Shankly wasn't a good manager. But if you do look at Shankly's, the trophies that he won, they're nowhere, like, I think Klopp has actually probably won more, same or more.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I think he's a combination of both. So he has basically taken, like Shankly did, took Liverpool from the doldrums and brought them back to being at the top table. But he's done it, and also is an excellent manager. So I think he will. His face is on that flag. You see all the top managers. You have Shankly, Paisley, Dalglish, Benitez is on there as well, but and Klopp is on it now. But he has cemented his place in like the history of the club in terms of like when you name the top managers that Liverpool have ever had, it'll probably go Shankly in order of when they managed Shankly, Paisley, Dalglish, Klopp. And everybody else, I think, maybe in between.
In a footballing sense,
disappear.
In a footballing sense,
yeah,
I think it goes Paisley, Klopp.
Oh, in a football sense, yeah. No,
yeah.
but in terms of historic managers,
in terms of importance and their legacy and their impact at a football club, I think it actually goes, in my opinion, it goes Shankly, Dalglish, Paisley, Klopp. I think you can have different ways of having different lists,
yeah.
whether you're looking at a football and thing, because I genuinely, and look, if you look at the story of Shankly, right, and I'm happy we're going to talk about this for a few minutes rather than all about Klopp, because I want to leave that till the very, very last one, right? But when it comes down to talking about Liverpool and talking about people at the football club and stuff like that, for me, Shankly just takes Liverpool and puts them on a pedestal and says, you are the best, you will always be the fucking best, and that's it, right? And he makes them believe, and that's why the whole thing around the similarities between him and Klopp come in, because he just says, look, you don't worry about anyone else. Like, and if you watch the story of Shankly literally takes them, keeps building, demands the best, going to the board and demanding the best. He's like, that stand out there, the toilets, nothing's good enough. We have to be the best. And when we talk about, even today, about Arne Slot coming in, and we talk about knowing the traditions and the standards, as soon as you say standards, it goes right back to Bill Shankly. Nobody else. He made the standards, and that's what you're set to, right? Paisley is just a brilliant football manager, unassuming but brilliant, right? And people say, oh, he took off on a great side, but look at him, he evolved the side over 9 seasons. 9 seasons. You don't take over a team and just keep it for 9 seasons. He evolves that. You win so many trophies, right? I genuinely believe Kenny Dalglish is the biggest figure ever at Liverpool Football Club, right? Shankly built them and set the standards, but I think what Kenny Dalglish does as a player at Liverpool, as a manager at Liverpool, but beyond all of what he does for Liverpool Football Club post Hillsborough, makes him the biggest, in my mind, the biggest person that's ever been associated with Liverpool football. He is the king. He is the king. He is the biggest influence and the biggest figurehead Liverpool have ever had. And you can argue over him and Shankly. I would argue with Dalglish all day long because of what he takes on, what he wins as a player, what he wins as a manager, where he is. Look at him now. He's still, like, Jürgen Klopp nearly bows down at this man's feet. And on its own,
they love each other.
Yeah, but on its own,
I see them in a few years sitting together in the stands. Honestly,
yeah, I do as well. But on its own, the post Hillsborough stuff and what Kenny Dalglish does for the football club and victims families and players and their wherever it might be, stands him on his own. That's my opinion. And then you come to Klopp, who I think keeps the standards of Shankly. He makes people believe he's a brilliant football manager, but he gets the people. So when you start doing a list of greatest Liverpool managers of all time on a footballing side, I think Klopp's only second to Paisley. That's my opinion. On an overall thing, I think it's Dalglish, Shankly, Klopp. That's where I think he is. But I think he figures in all these lists. And if you figure on both of those lists, whether it's first, second, third, or whatever, but you're in the conversation, you don't really have to say much about the people. That's the legacy.
No. But there's so many, like, and we said that there's a correlation between Shankly and Klopp and what he did and whatever. Wasn't it Shankly that it was the players that he was telling the players that these people go out and spend their hard-earned money to come and watch you, and that it's your job to basically go out there and win games for them. Then, like you said earlier on, Klopp agreeing with the crowd about the £77 thing. There's so many kind of similarities, between the two of them. But like, and we have to touch on it because the social media of, and I'm not gonna say what they're saying. Like, he's only who was it? Is it Simon Jordan or somebody came out? And I know that immediately when you say that, it's like, don't even fucking say it. But he's got the same Premier Leagues as Ranieri. He has the same blah blah blah. But they list off all of this thing, and he's got. So what you're saying is he's got the same amount of trophies as 5 managers at 5 different clubs combined.
Yeah,
like their argument doesn't stand up. He is, and I don't care what anybody says. He is one of, I'm not going to say he is the greatest, but he is one of the greatest managers that have managed in the Premier League. In the 30 odd years of it.
I don't think you can argue against that. I think, you have all this City stuff in the shadows as well, right? And I think, I look, I think City have 115 charges against them for a reason. Whether they get off for it or not, I don't know. I don't think they will. But they have them there for a reason. And the only way Liverpool have been stopped from possibly more leagues, possibly more domestic cups, possibly more European cups, because Manchester City indirectly affects everybody. You know, have to put out my full team. I'm playing City at the weekend. City this, City, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, he was put up against a sovereign state. The only thing that's beat him over the last 8 years is a sovereign state that currently sit with 115 charges against them. That's it. Right? Now, you can say they're guilty, you can say they're not, you can say they can get away with it, you can say they don't. It's my opinion they won't. And it's my opinion that's 115 charges there for a reason. And that's the only thing that stopped them. Arsenal haven't stopped them. Man City have done their best with what they're doing. Manchester United haven't stopped them. Chelsea haven't stopped them. Nobody stopped them. You know what I mean? He's been beaten in 2 European Cup finals by Real Madrid, right? One where he gets an unfortunate injury to his main player, and the other one where their goalkeeper has the game of his life, right? These things happen, right? But if Simon Jordan or any other fucking idiot that's placed on...
I don't even know whether it was him. It was somebody on...
Yeah, it would have been someone of them ilk, right? But if Simon Jordan or any of them knobheads from fucking Talksport want to come on and go, well, he's not really being that good, I'll ask them one simple question. Would your football club have taken Jürgen Klopp in the last 8 years? And would you have taken what Jürgen Klopp has done in the last 8 years? And the answer is simply yes. And I'll put it to you this way. If Manchester United are beaten by Manchester City in the FA Cup the FA Cup final, and Man City win the last 2 league games, and I still hope Arsenal win it, I'm going to say it, but if they are both beaten by Manchester City, within the next 3-4 weeks, you are going to hear Manchester United fans and Arsenal fans going on about Man City and who they are and where they are. So they can't really tell you Klopp hasn't done great, because your only comeback on all this is what City are up to. And the truth is, yeah, Arsenal should have a league title, possibly last season. Man United should possibly have a league title going back a couple of years. Arsenal should possibly have a league title this year, if all things were equal. But they don't. So don't tell me that you can't do this and you couldn't do that because of Man City, and then try play down the accomplishments of Jürgen Klopp, because he's literally made English football interesting for the last 8.5 years. Not because of the character he is, but because of the teams he's produced and what they can produce over the last 8 years. Because if he's not there, City have won the last 6 league titles. I think possibly more. They've won, no, it would be 7 league titles in a row, I think, if Liverpool didn't win this one, or the one in 1920. So don't play down his achievements. You have to look at what he was up against. And that's truth. That's truth. That's it. That's his legacy. His legacy is that they talk about Man City saving football. I promise you now, if Jürgen Klopp isn't at Liverpool, right? What are we looking at?
A Farmers League.
We're looking at a Bayern Munich situation. That's what we're looking at. And because of Klopp, that didn't happen, both in Europe and in England. So anyone telling you he hasn't been that good or is underachieved hasn't a fucking clue what they're talking about. Simple as that. Have you enjoyed that?
That's his legacy. Yeah, it did actually, yeah.
Yeah, it was nice, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's so many more that you want to talk about, but like, obviously it's this week now, it's going to be a bit of crack now watching them each evening. So
yeah. Stephen says, I love our history of great managers. Yeah, me too. He also says Shankly is number 1. Shankly, I think in a footballing sense, I don't think Shankly is number 1. I think in a Liverpool Football Club, list, he's definitely number 1.
Yeah, I think you have to doubt whether we are sitting here talking
Actually,
about
he's not. He's my number 2.
Dalglish or a Paisley or a Klopp if Shankly hasn't done what he's done.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what? It's not about, for me, it's not about comparing them. You can also always sit down and compare. Look, we'll probably have a point next week in Liverpool and go, what do you reckon then? And we just sit and have a chat for a half an hour about it. But it's not really the time to compare them. I think when you look at Klopp, I look at what he done when he came in, what he brought to the club, all the highs he gave us. You'll always get lows, but all the highs he gave us. What he done for the football club, what he done for, I would argue, for the city of Liverpool. Although Everton fans will tell you different. And when you put all the factors together, what was thrown at And what he's achieved, I think, is just amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Our fundraiser is in the description. Donate if you can. If you can't, share it. If you want to donate to the golf day, we still have some tee boxes up for sponsorship and long drives and stuff like that. Listen, there's nobody donating to this fucking thing. We're gonna have to do something major, but the golf day is something that helps us out. We're trying our best to promote it. People don't have the money, absolutely fine, but we're gonna. Listen, I don't mind if this takes us a year or 2 years. It doesn't bother me. It's just going to stay there. We get the 10 grand. But the link is in the description for it there. Whether you're watching now or listening later. Phil's one for the Laura Lynn Hospice, which is another outstanding organisation, is there as well. And Phil is like training like a madman. It's absolutely insane what he's doing. But his link is in there. And football prizes have a really good prize which closes on, I want to say, what date is today? The 12th. I think it closes next Wednesday, the 16th. But part of it is two hospitality tickets to Liverpool and Wolves. So it's well worth having a go. Maybe throwing yourself into that if you can make it to Liverpool this week. But look, I really enjoyed it. As I said, we are going to do shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday this week, covering the arrival of Klopp, the big moments, the big goals, the legacy, all the stuff we've spoken about tonight. I've mentioned them loads of times and I still can't remember them. But there is 5 shows coming this week. It will be the arrival, the goals, the moments, the wins, and the legacy. So make sure you check it out. They'll all be live on YouTube. But if you don't get them on YouTube, you'll be able to download them. And it'll be me hosting most of them, I would say, and an array of guests. But I can guarantee you the last guest is Matt, in from Canada, sitting with me in my back garden, live, drinking cans and smoking. If you're against smoking, don't turn around. We're going to be smoking. But that has been it. Thanks a million to Emma. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, comment, become a member. Do that as well, because we're going to make sure that during the summer we are going to bring you some stuff, but there's going to be a lot of member stuff coming during the summer as a thank you to people that help us throughout the year by being a member. We're going to bring you loads of members shows as much as we possibly can. The majority of shows throughout the summer will be member shows, so that's the way it's going to go. Emma, anything else before we go?
We did watch alongs for the World Cup. We should try them for the Euros.
Oh, here we go. Jesus Christ. Watch alongs.
If Kev and Chris are listening. Yeah, that was some crack.
Right, well, I'll tell you what then. The only way, listen, the lads might want to do watch alongs.
It'll have to be the evening. Yeah, it'll have to be
the evening games, 8 o'clock evening
them.
games or whatever. Yeah. If they want to do them, we will set them up for them to do. I won't be doing them, right? Unless it's a Friday night and I have a few cans there and I can sit down, but I won't be hosting them. So I'll probably be out the back on my phone doing them, which is one of you can host them. But yeah, look, we will try to do stuff during the Euros, but during the summer we're going to be doing loads of different bits, and we're going to if we're doing 5 shows a week during the summer, at least 3 of them will be members shows. I think that's only fair to people that are members. So yeah, there we go. Members only watch alongs. You could do that. Yeah, we can work it out. We'll work it out. Right, we better go. It's 11:15.
Is there any way do you remember that joke we used to do with the the American football? Is there any way you can do that way to Euros, where people can actually come on and be on screen with you, know?
You're just determined to give me more work to do, aren't you? Fucking hell, I've about 100.
We'll talk about it next week.
Like, on top of this podcast, I've about 100 things to do at work, and you're going,
right?
Yeah, remember the thing we used to do? Can we do that? And there's any chance you can get, like, I don't know, like a blonde midget to dance around the place? Where, like, what is going on?
Hey, that's definitely for member shows only.
Yeah. Well, that's what you're into. It's not me. I'm only saying it because like, that's the thing you like. But anyway, that's not true. I'm only messing. Jesus Christ, I'm only messing. Just making that up. And live stream the golf day? No, was the answer to that. No, I'm having enough stress over the golf day. I couldn't be live streaming that as well. But listen, throughout the summer, it's going to be whatever we want to do with members, and we can just have a bit of crack. And that's what we're going to do for the summer. There will be the transfer stuff and all. I don't know why we're getting into this now, but we are. But look, like, subscribe, comment, become a member, listen to us, download it. And the more, like, if we get good feedback on this stuff over the summer, we'll keep doing it. If we don't, we just won't. Do you know what I mean? We only do stuff that people like to watch. So there you go. Yeah, that's it. before Emma fucking throws any more work at me. That has been the Talkin Kop for the Sunday night. We're back tomorrow with reaction to Aston Villa and Liverpool. And as I said then, we will have 5 shows on Jürgen Klopp between Tuesday and Saturday. We won't be around on Sunday for the final day of the season. There's no one here. Like, there's literally nobody here to do shows. So we won't be around for that. And we'll be back with you possibly Tuesday or Wednesday next week when we get our heads together. All right. Talk to you in a bit. Over and out.